We are going live. So open up the windows. Let's see. We are going live. There we go. All right. Looks like we are official. We are now streaming live on YouTube, as far as I know it.
We're bona fide.
We are bona fide. We are official. So, anywho, wish I had the music in the background like I do during our regular pre-recorded ones. But
yeah, well, you don't want me singing, that's for sure. The voice, watch your audience plummet downward.
Yeah, they're losing subscribers.
Yeah, left and right.
Welcome, everybody, our viewers who are chimed in live here on our weekly Wednesday live roundtable talks. Welcome to Conscious Radio Network. I am your host, Reverend Dr. Paul Mekas. Thank you for tuning in. If you are watching tonight, now, or maybe even later, because it's going to be a special night too, because we, if you subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below, I am going to pick 3 random subscribers, new subscribers, to get free readings with Jerry McDaniel. And speaking of Jerry, welcome back, Jerry. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing really good. How about yourself? I'm doing well. I am
doing well. The sun comes up every morning. The weather is perfect. I can't complain or ask for anything more.
Same here.
Oh,
same here. Yeah, it's been nice. Those living in Florida, in Central Florida, we've had some cool days and evenings, and it's been really good.
It's been amazing. So
yeah, so love living in Florida. Don't like the bugs. Don't like the alligators. Don't like the. Yeah, I like the rain, but the lightnings. People don't understand in Florida. You understand Central Florida. We live in some like a strip. It's just really violent thunderstorms.
Yeah,
it's gentle. It's not a gentle Irish rain. It's a violent Central Florida thunderstorm with lightning and locusts coming down and everything. So I
haven't gotten too many mosquitoes yet. I haven't noticed the mosquitoes yet. But what I have been noticing is when I go out every morning or afternoon, evening to do some watering, I'll get these what they call chiggers. These little, just like things that you can't, the no-see-ums, and they attack your ankle. Yeah, they attack your ankle, and you're itching just for hours. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, birds are out, the rabbits are out. You know, I've got a sanctuary of rabbits and
I know, I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah, I was amazed, and they were all out at the same time, like out in the afternoon. You know, normally I only see the rabbits come out really early in the morning before the sun comes up. They're all over the place, but this one just comes out during the day and hops around and checks everything out. I'll throw carrots out there or whatnot, and yeah, so
cool. This portion, by the way, is endorsed by Wild Kingdom, the National Geographic.
yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, it's my geo.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but no, things are good. I did a group reading via Zoom on Sunday for a few people that didn't get their message because I promised a message and I wasn't there to live up to that. So we had 4, I think, and I've got another date coming up for those people who bought and paid tickets. The great thing is Mary Ellen offered them a refund, saying that I wouldn't be there. And the great thing that they came anyway and got to hear Vicky. And like I said, I really appreciate Vicky stepping in. So yeah, things are good. Things are rolling.
Right on. Looks like on the chat here, Alana Herring says hi from Australia, Sydney, Australia.
Sydney, Australia. I spent 2 weeks in Sydney, Australia.
Yeah.
Launching, myself and another person launching product lines. Oh God, it's been, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. I was going to they have a bridge there, right? And I was going to walk across the bridge. You can walk across that bridge.
Oh
And I
yeah.
finally got up the courage. I mean, it's high, Paul. You have to tether yourself to a line and take a group, I think, of like 8 or 10. I finally got up the courage to do it one day. And all of a sudden, I felt the drop of rain. I said, oh, that's it. It's rained out. I'm not going to go. I was but it started really raining hard. And I thought, but man, I think it takes you, they would know, folks, I just fell in love with Australia, fell in love with Sydney. It's just a beautiful, beautiful city.
Yeah.
I got to see the Opera House and did a tour of the water there, the tour of the Opera House, and the people are just fantastic, just fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, they I saw a lot of videos too in the past through the years where they do all the fireworks and stuff off that bridge, and all different types of theatrical shows and fireworks.
Your person from, or people from Australia remember this. I was there right after Queensland had all the big fires, and there was this beautiful, beautiful a shot of a fire person using water within a baby, almost like a baby bottle, and to a little koala bear or panda bear or whatever it was. Not panda bear. I'm sorry. I don't know my bears too well. Koala bear.
Koala? Yeah, koala.
Yeah.
So.
And it was just beautiful. And it just devastated that Queensland area, I think. And I'm hoping I'm getting that right. But I just love. And then we flew to launch products in New Zealand. We went to Auckland for one day. And I thought, oh, good, New Zealand. Lord of the Rings, the country be beautiful. Yeah. A monsoon from beginning to end. I never, other than downtown Auckland and the airport, I never saw much of New Zealand because of the weather was so bad. But I can say I've been there. I just fell in love with Australia. It's just gorgeous weather. I mean, gorgeous people, beautiful beaches too. Beautiful beaches.
Yeah. That's Australia is definitely on my bucket list. That's, Australia, Scotland, Ireland. Yeah.
Been to Ireland twice.
Yeah.
I have not been to Scotland. That's next on the list is Scotland. I'd love to go to Egypt, but my wife not so much wants to go to Egypt, but I'd love to go to Egypt and look at the pyramids and Sphinx, and just there's so much energy there. It's like a vortex of,
Yeah, that's definitely my first. That's the first on my bucket list is Egypt. That's Cairo. Yeah. Check out the Sphinx, all the pyramids, and then possibly go to. I want to see all of the Stonehenge, all the megaliths.
Oh yeah,
and go to Sardinia, on the island of Sardinia, and go check out the ancient. I wouldn't say graves, but they're all these underground megaliths that were built by supposedly the giants, the ancient giants.
Wow.
That could have been what they're supposing is like burial chambers, or it's just so much stuff you see on Ancient Aliens.
I watched a movie. This is metaphysical. I watched a movie. My wife and I came back from dinner with friends last Saturday night, and that's when I still was feeling bad. I didn't think I was going to make it through dinner. So we're looking for something to watch, and we watched a movie called The Cokeville Miracle. Very true story. I've never heard of this. I would have been. It's 1986. I would have been like 31 because I was born in 55.
Yeah.
It's a true story of a couple who takes. I won't spoil the ending or anything. Who takes an entire classroom of children and adults hostage, and they're going to blow up.
Wow.
It's like over 100 people that they take hostage. And as I watched the movie, I went, I don't remember this. And my wife, Mary, goes, me neither. But all I can say is look at, I call it sacred synchronicity, synchronization. There we go.
Yeah.
It's a proof that everything's connected. When you watch this and you watch how it plays out, and you go, there's something to the other side. There really, really is. Now, can I prove it scientifically? No. But I can tell you the odds of this happening are so great, I don't think you can calculate it. So that's kind of where I'm going with that, Paul, is that the odds are too great to calculate. Does that make it science? I don't know. People smarter than me are going to be able to figure it out. And as I read up on it, The movie pretty accurately portrays what happened. But again, they said it was all over the news. I don't remember it. Were you even born in 1986?
I was born in 77.
77.
So I was
9.
I was on the way. I was on the way to Florida. I wasn't in Florida quite yet. I moved
Yeah.
to Florida in 87.
87.
Yeah, 87.
Yeah,
September of
funny,
87.
that's when we moved here from Tennessee. But
Yeah.
Cokeville took place, I think, in Wyoming in 1986. And like I said, I was 30, 31. I didn't hear of it.
Yeah.
You would have thought I would have, but I highly suggest, you know, how some movies, of course you're with Disney, how some movies really, you know, have to amp up the details and the facts because they got to make money, right? They got to sell some tickets.
Yeah.
This one didn't. Everything pretty much happened the way that you see it. Everything is pretty.
What's the name? What was the name of the movie again?
The Cokeville Miracle. Coke, like Coca-Cola.
Yeah, the Coke.
Like the other Coke, the white powder. And
Yeah.
you got Cokeville Miracle. And there's nobody famous in it. There's nobody you'd recognize. And I can see where probably independent studio put it out. But yeah, it was, I mean, it really, it leaves a lasting impression that we are all connected, whether we want to believe it or not, and even connected through dimensions and other worlds.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway.
Oh, wow. So we got some watching. So for those who are just now chiming in, again, dial the number 407-636-1157 if you'd like a reading over the air. Or if you don't feel comfortable of having a reading over the air, we are giving away 3 free readings with Jerry. Catch is, be a subscriber, hit subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And we will pick 3 lucky winners, and we will connect you later with Jerry to get a free reading. How long? What's the normal? Was it like 15 minutes, 30 minutes? What's the
what reading?
What's the reading? Yeah.
Oh, I do a 30-minute.
Oh, okay. So
I'll do a 30-minute. Yeah.
3 lucky winners for new subscribers. So reach out to your friends while you're watching the show and tell them to tune in and subscribe. And the other thing is you got to leave a comment. That way we know. Leave your name and say, hey, I just subscribed, blah, blah. And we'll pick 3 lucky winners for
and
a 30
if you could leave the comment that says how awesome Paul and I are.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee you'll get to the front of the line, but it'll make us feel good.
Yeah.
That's what
yeah, it'll make us feel a lot better.
Yeah, make us feel better. That's right.
Yeah. So but yeah, these roundtables, I decided to launch these a couple weeks ago. I was like, yeah, let me try something. After I got the phone working,
yeah, I think it's a great idea.
After I got the phone working, I was like, you know, why are these cables for the phone not working? So I was like, you know, something Spirit told me. He's like, you need new cables. I'm like, they are new cables. They're like, you need new cables. So sure enough, I bought new cables, plugged them in, tested it with a caller. And they're like, yeah, I don't hear anything unusual. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah. There you go.
Oh, and I wanted to mention too, if you know you're from Australia, from another country, you know, I've done Zoom in about 10 different countries. So we can do Zoom, we can do phone. It's not just in the States, it's whoever is listening, wherever you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, if you want to call into the show now to have a real brief reading with Jerry, let's do it. The 407-636-1157. And we can do that. But if you're not comfortable, then subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, not sure how to work that, but
well, can they leave a comment?
They can leave a comment. Yeah. So, but so yeah, the roundtable discussions weekly. What I'm thinking about doing. Well, first off, the format for the live weekly ones is informal. It's not really a show. Like, it's not being recorded. I mean,
Right.
YouTube's going to record it and stay on the channel, but I'm not recording it for me to, go through post-production, edit it, and turn into an episode.
No.
So that being said, I was like, which I should, because that way I can actually put it up on the, something, I should do that, because otherwise it wouldn't go on to the, what do you call it? The podcast networks.
Gotcha. Oh, that's a good idea.
But
oh, good.
There we go.
Speaking of recording.
I was like, wait a second, it's live, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, I'm still waiting. But anyway, we do have a caller. Let's see, it's a Florida call.
Great.
So let's see what we got here. Welcome to Conscious Radio Network. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Nicole.
Hi, Nicole. How you doing?
How are you, Paul?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Now I recognize a voice.
Yeah, I think I know what this is. God bless her. I mean,
welcome, Nicole. How are you doing this evening?
Still great, thank you.
Awesome. You can hear me fine, correct?
Absolutely.
Good. Awesome. See, it does work. Yes. Spirit does
Yes.
work in mysterious ways. So, Nicole, I would assume you would like a reading with Jerry.
That is true. I would love to have a reading with Jerry.
hey, Nicole, how are you? How have you been? I haven't, if it's Nicole I'm thinking of, I haven't seen you in a while. But I mean, I've missed almost every Spirit Fest this year. So, so you've been doing well? Nicole?
Still there, Nicole?
I'm still here.
Okay, so you've been doing well, Nicole?
Can you hear Jerry?
I wonder if she can hear me.
I don't know. You can hear me though, Nicole, right?
I can hear you.
But you can't hear Jerry?
I cannot hear Jerry.
That's weird.
Well,
But Jerry can hear you.
yeah.
Interesting.
I'm just going to go off her energy. And if this recorded, maybe she can look at it later. I don't know. That's fine. First time I'm hearing with Nicole, and again, my gifts are probably more clairvoyant than anything, but there's mediumship, psychic, intuition. But I'm hearing very loudly that it's time for a change, a time for a drastic change. I don't know if I sense anything with health. I'm just hearing it's time for a change. It's almost like, Nicole, something you've been thinking about doing. Why is there something health about this? Either her or somebody close to her, Paul, is something about health. But I'll focus in on Nicole. It's also time that Nicole is a healer. She is a natural born healer. And maybe that's what I'm feeling, some energy draining because of someone that you've been trying to help, one or two people you've trying to help, and they almost, Nicole, like refuse to be helped. And you're doing all you can do. And so please, as I say of healers, Nicole, there are people who don't want to be healed or don't think they need to be helped. And it's like this person, why am I getting two people now? I think it's this person and somebody close to this person and it's not like you're walking up and putting hands. You don't, healing is words, thoughts, actions, deeds. You don't have to put hands on people to be a healer, but you are a healer and you have a healing presence. But it's almost like when you're near this, you're an empath too. That's coming through. It's almost like when you're near this person, the energy just drains out of you. And so they're saying, you're doing all you can. There's nothing more you can do. And it's time. They're saying now, Spirit is saying, it's time to move on to other modalities, meaning other gifts that you have. And I'm sensing strong psychic is coming upon you. Psychic gifts will be exploding here soon. It's like you have felt this shift in consciousness, but it didn't. It's like all of us. It didn't happen like with a light switch. It's a slow dimmer switch, right? When we ascend, we don't ascend. We don't say, hey, see you later, I'm ascending. But you do have this shift of consciousness, and you are, Spirit says, and a spirit guide is coming through, okay? So let me put Spirit aside. Spirit guide's coming through and saying, continue your studies. Now your studies, your quest for knowledge and the quest for enlightenment. Continue that. Like, it's almost like, why am I here? What's my purpose here? And a purpose is as of a healer, but this spirit guide, and I can't tell, it's not a Native American. It's almost like someone from, almost like an Aztec or Mayan, saying that this person, this man, will help navigate you through these corridors or these pathways to more of your gifts. So know that you've got these gifts. I mean, your intuition is real strong, but know that these gifts are really going to explode. And there's a last thing I want to say, because I don't know if we have anybody waiting, but Nicole, last thing I'll say is there is an older female coming through from the world of spirit. Could be a grandmother, I almost won't say great grandmother. And it's tough for us because of the age difference to really know if we've met our, our great grandmother or not. But this grandmother's coming through really strong. Our great grandmother, saying she's proud of you, proud of the decisions you make, and proud of the relationships. Oh, this is important. Proud of the relationships you've built and the relationships you've let go because of the negativity and negative energy. And so I'm going to leave that with you, Nicole, and thank you for calling in. And if we can post this on Facebook maybe later from YouTube.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be on. You're still there, Nicole, right?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right. So I'm assuming you didn't hear anything through the your phone on this, correct?
Yeah, I'm afraid I did not.
You didn't hear anything that Jerry was saying. Yeah, I'm checking a level here, which I'm not supposed to have on, but I'm doing it anyway. And say something, Jerry, see if she can hear you.
Hello, Nicole.
Anything?
Nothing.
That's weird. Jerry, what's Spirit going to tell you? I bought new cables and they're what?
Spirit is saying, thank God for replay.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. So she'll be able to watch this she'll be able to catch the message on replay or on.
Definitely going to have to do another test. Do another test on this some other time to before live. It worked the last time. I don't know. I'm getting all these weird blips.
Uh-oh. Your screen just froze. Whoa, Paul. Well, I don't know if I'm still being recorded, but Paul has frozen.
I appreciate it. I'll see you in Melbourne, right?
See you in Melbourne, yeah. And thank you for the reading, Jerry. I will probably listen to it later.
Awesome.
Paul, your screen.
I apologize.
Your screen froze for about 30 seconds, 20, 30 seconds. I couldn't see or hear you.
Yeah. Huh. That's weird. Seems like every time now YouTube is giving me it's like there was a disconnect and then it safely reconnected. So yeah, and maybe
Okay.
Sometimes I'll have like weird energy will start happening, and I'll have all these just strange. Like there was a couple shows when Scott Donat was on, and was it me, Scott?
Was it Alexander?
Alexander and Graham, and so I just completely the system kicked me off. Everybody else was on, but it kicked me off. I was like, wait, I'm the host. Why did it kick me off?
Yeah, your show's going, yeah.
We don't need him. Oh man. Yeah, so that is a very weird that the caller can't hear. That is unusual.
Does anybody else want a reading?
Yeah, Sandy Williamson would like a reading. She is not on the phone, she is on the chat.
Oh, I know who that is. We know who that is.
Yeah.
Hey, Sandy. You'll catch this on replay. I don't know if you can hear it, but yeah. So, and Sandy makes a lot of beautiful, beautiful stuff. So if you go to Spirit, I say Spirit Fest, or I mean not Spirit Fest, but they're doing other shows now. Yeah. Look up Sandy Williamson. she makes all these beautiful, I bought some stuff for my granddaughters, beautiful handmade bracelets. There is a strong Native American presence around Sandy. And I don't know if there's any Native American blood. This looks like more than just, not just, but it looks like more than a Native American spirit guide. So I had like, with Nicole, I had like the Mayan and the Aztec, or, you know, and yeah, because I can identify them with like a gold plate. You know, that's like for me, a sign, you know, or a symbol that the spirit gives me. But now this is a Native American, this strong Native American presence. Something about wanting her to go out into, because I think they got a beautiful home up in, you know, their Eustis area, somewhere up in there.
Yeah.
Eustis, Umatilla, Mount Dora, somewhere up in there. And that area is gorgeous. It really is pretty, starting to get into some hills. And it's almost like they want Sandy, I'm just going to come and say it, they want Sandy to start a drum circle. Now, or just drum by herself. You know, sound is vibrations. And I don't have any, my wife does, but I don't have any Native American presence within me. I think we all do, probably to some small degree, right?
Yeah.
Mine is Irish and Scottish. And my spirit guides are actually people of the cloth, because I'm Catholic, I guess. But with Sandy, this is, they're talking about her expanding her gifts, and doing more necklaces, more turquoise, which is beautiful. I'm seeing all these turquoise and silver. So I'm seeing a lot of things that the Native Americans are blessing. And I think it has a lot to do with the land where their house is. I really think it's a blessing for where they are at. And so I see her business growing. I think her and Graham share a booth, but now it's almost to the point where Sandy needs a separate booth by herself, so she can fully display. It's almost like she's got like 40 or 50 or 60 different items to display. And this year I see it growing to about 100. And I don't know if she does sage over, but this Native American spirit guide or presence. I don't know if it's a spirit guide, it's a presence. Let's just say presence. Wants her to put sage. If she's doing that, fine, but wants to sage over all the gifts and not trinkets. That's to devalue all the beautiful stuff she is hand making. I love when people hand make stuff.
Yeah.
It's handmade. And she does, I mean, she spends a lot of time doing this. They also want her to rub some type of essential oil. I'm not an essential oil, my wife is, but I don't know what oil because they're afraid of the hands getting, arthritis or something, because it's having to do all the little stuff that I, in a million years, could never do. So her gifts are in her gifts. That's what Spirit just said. It was beautiful. I never heard Spirit say her meditation gifts. Her meditation gifts are in her gifts. And so, where people sell things and maybe they don't bless them, I think these are blessed. And so they want Sandy, and she's the only one they want to bless these with sage, or particularly with sage. And okay, I was just getting ready to disconnect, and her brother came through. Now this is a brother she just lost, I think, a few weeks ago. He comes through wearing a lot of blue, very serene, very calm. Maybe not the way he left this earth, but he's very calm, very serene. He misses his sister. I think this is her brother, brother-in-law. He likes how she has developed her gifts and how she is if you meet Sandy, she's so calm. There's just such an air of calm and serenity around her, and her gifts seem to indicate that. And he's sorry he went the way he went, or how he went. Don't know how he went. I just we all got the notice that her brother had passed, and he comes through very strong, so soon. And he watches over her work and going, she's making all this great stuff. And blue is his color. So she makes something blue. It's like he really pays attention to it. really pays attention to it, and jokes that he can't believe she's still married to the Englishman. So we all know as Graham, right? Can't believe you're still married to the Englishman. But her brother comes through with a lot of love. He's joined several family members on her side. Yeah, and just said there's more to come for her in terms of gifts. He has found the peace and happiness, not that he had been looking for. I think he found a certain amount of it here on the earth plane, but he comes through with much love for Sandy, and talking about he's sorry he didn't get to say the proper way. He goes, the proper way, as the English would say it, the proper way. He found a little fun. He's sorry he didn't get to say goodbye the proper way. Or but he loves, he says, everything. And I think he believed what Sandy and all of us believe in. I think he believed some of it. He may not have admitted it, but I think he believed some of it, or probably more than he cared to admit. And he says it's all true. Everything here is serene and light and love. And he sends her light and love. And he says, be careful with your travels. Just be careful with your travels. Okay. So.
Awesome.
Yeah. Right as I was getting ready to get off, and in came her brother going, hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Sandy. We also have Angela on.
Angela.
I would like a reading too, and she's on the chat, not the phone. So
that's fine. There's energy of the Angela, and it's almost like, and there's a lot of energy that came over her typing in the distance. A lot of energy. Now there's a certain. It's almost like Paul, I can see her fingers. It's almost like a certain sadness. Like there's a certain sadness that she's going through. It was like grieving over a loss. Now, it doesn't have to be the loss of a person. It can be just a loss. I lost my job. I lost whatever. But there's a loss there. And she will heal very well in time. And this is fairly recent. Not within 2 years. That's not really recent. I'd say within the past 4, 5, 6 months. And yes, we mourn, we grieve. We don't get over it just like that, right? And so she is it's almost like a male. I think it's a male that is passed. Almost like, and I don't have her permission. My higher self does not have her permission to connect with her higher self unless she gave me permission. But it's almost like she is thinking, she is saying, I can't believe he's gone. I can't believe he's gone. It may have happened 5 or 6 months ago. Why am I looking at 6 months as crucial here? Yeah. Or not crucial, but as, a date. And I wonder if he is still with me. And yes, he is around her. And, and I'm sitting here getting the feeling she has no idea what I'm talking about. Well, when she hears this, I think something will click. And again, you know this, Paul, very well. You've been doing it longer than I have. In the spirit realm, everything moves real quick. They talk real quick. Yeah. It's real tough to catch them because, that is like 20 years. So you can imagine how quick everything is. And sometimes nobody's perfect, right? I'm just a normal guy, right? That has a gift, that everybody has a gift or multiple gifts. It may not be the way I manifest my gifts, but they have gifts. And something about, don't worry about things you can't control. And I have a feeling this is around career somehow, or somebody close to her. But I think it's really centralized around her. Oh, they're now saying, don't worry about somebody's career or somebody's job. And it is focused on Angela. God, I love that name. It has, and I think, Paul, that name has a ring to it.
Yeah.
When I say a name, it's almost like the other side is saying, she's named after somebody. And it could be first name, middle name, but there's something, or there's a ring there that to her name that leaves a legacy of the people before her. And I'm getting strong angels around her. And she needs, what I'm hearing, the Archangel Raphael, who specializes in healing. So there's some healing that needs to go on with Angela. And what I'm also getting is she needs to realize whatever happened recently was not her fault, not the passing of somebody, of course, but they want her to know. They don't want to say it out loud while we're in a public forum. What happened recently is like Angela's questioning what she did or the situation she was in. And Spirit is saying, it's not your fault, Angela. It's not your fault. So you can move on. It's not your fault. So I'll leave that with Angela. All right. We got 3 in.
Yeah, we got 3 in. If anybody wants to call in, I've been looking at the controls on the mixer and stuff like that, and I'm kind of like, I wonder if that was it or not. I don't know. It's I'm assuming. So if anybody wants to call in, and number is 407-636-1157. Like I said, I was very hesitant of doing these live shows at first because I'm like, the only way you know if you're doing it right is you have to experiment. You have to just jump out of the frying pan and into the fire. Just get your feet wet and do it.
You'll never know unless you do this.
Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't work, it's not a failure. It's a test. I mean, Nemo always told me this. He always tells this to everybody. Nemo says, when Graham Bell, or not, it wasn't Alexander Graham, Thomas Edison, he kept failing. He's like, he didn't fail at making a light bulb. He just found 19,000 ways.
Yeah. To perfect it.
You have to perfect it. Yep.
Yeah. And had he not stolen that stuff from Nikola Tesla. Okay, I won't get into it.
Right.
That's
another show.
That's another show. He is the only person that's ever famous person. And I'm not going to channel famous people unless they're connected. There was a young lady here. Oh my, it must have been 5 years ago. Can't even remember her name because it's been a while. And she had the machine she was making some adjustments on. And I said, well, let me see what I get. In pops the black and white picture of Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
And he is telling her, do this, do that. It sounded like gobbledygook coming out of my mouth. Set this, set this, set this. And I never heard from her. But he's the only quote thing. Him and Geronimo came through for somebody.
Yeah. Wow.
About a year and a half ago.
Wow.
And I don't know. I know what the TV shows a different image of Geronimo than the picture of Geronimo. And I just heard Geronimo, and I see a brave Native American up on a horse, and he was actually guiding this person. So I don't channel famous people.
Huh.
Unless they're connected. If they're connected.
What's interesting is it's been a while since we did this, but I'll say it over the air. I think we were like the very first people. I knew a couple that were real estate, weren't investors, but they were looking after the Howie in the Hills mansion, the original mansion up in Howie in the Hills. And they were the financial caretakers during the dispute and the whole transition of probate between the family and the state with the state. And we were asked to come in. I think we were the first, I believe, when we were really strong with Clairvoyant Paranormal. When I started Clairvoyant Paranormal, I gathered, a few of the mediums from the Chapel of Spiritual Light, and we got together and we decided to camp out, literally just camp out overnight and do a whole property, see what we could capture.
Wow.
And we started the evening with a control group. I had one medium come in during the table tipping seance, and the late Reverend Ben Cox initiated the table tipping seance
from Casadega, right?
Yep. And he told us that who in the heck was it? But there was a whole line. He's like, it looked like the DMV. Like it was like the DMV office. They were all lining up, just coming. They wanted to come to the table and just say something, say their stories. But he said Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, he showed up. say hi. He's like, you guys are doing awesome work. This is the very first time that help came to that place.
Yeah.
In order for spirit to be able to reach out to the living.
Yeah, he was the spiritualist, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yep. He was one of the founders of modern spiritualism.
Yeah.
With him and what was it? I got the book too. Trying to remember all the names. There's so many names. You got the Fox sisters. You've got
right.
But as far as in Europe, European, what the heck was it? I'm trying to think. I'll remember it when I'm not trying. When I'm trying to remember something, I can't remember it. It's like, man. Yeah, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. That was amazing. It was like,
wow.
Yeah. Wow. And then that night, I wish I tried to find a thermal camera to use. That would have proved everything that we were trying to do within the paranormal investigation world.
Right.
Because I felt it when we were videotaping the table tipping. You could, it was cold. It was ambient. The ambient temperature in the room was obviously cold because there was no electricity. And it was I think it was in the winter. It's going into the fall or coming out of the winter and into the spring, but it was cold. It was really cool outside. But with that building, being stone and rock,
so much energy.
Its temperature in there, and it's cold. Yeah. So I'd say the ambient temperature in the room was about 60 degrees.
Ooh.
But during the table tipping, there was a column of air that was hovering, went through the table, through the base of the table, from the floor, going through the table and up into the air. It was like a column, a pillar of air, and you could feel it. As soon as you put your hand over the table, the temperature dropped to like 30 some degrees. Freezing. If I was able to capture that on camera through the thermal imaging, you would have been able to see it clear as day. It would have looked like a Greek column going up.
I participated in, let's go back years, at a Casadega Hotel. And and now they do it, I think, in-house. This was in fact, I don't know if they still do it. This was me and a couple of buddies. That hotel is so ripe with a lot of history and little girl operated the flashlight, lit the flashlight.
Oh yeah.
Trying to spell out her name and there's a gentleman. Go ahead.
We were doing something up when the Seven Sisters Inn was still in business. This is actually during Halloween on, I think, was it 2017? No, I don't even remember what year it was. 14? I don't know. Forget the year. Who cares? But what happened was there was this empty property, this old house, 2-3-story house, late 1800s. And they divided up into groups, the investigators. One would go into that house, one would go into this house, one would do the inn. And we had people from all over the country, some from all over the world. And we had some I would say headliners, but yeah, I'm used to music, but we had some headliners. We had some Brian Cano from the Sci-Fi Channel. We had Andrea Perrin, from the movie, what inspired the movie The Conjuring. We had Steve DeShavi from I think, was it the Sci-Fi Channel's not Haunted Collector. What was it? Oh, we had him too, John Zaffis from the Haunted Collector. We had Steve DeShavi from, what was that show? The Dead Files. But we all broke up, and while we were in this house out back, no electricity again, so everybody's got these flashlights. We're pointing them everywhere. It's nighttime. It's raining. It's cold. Everybody's trying to stay dry. Everybody's got their little gizmos and stuff like that, and lights and meters and stuff. And then I got the camera, Actually, a buddy of mine's got the camera. I got the microphone because I'm doing the audio recording with the headsets to see if I can get any EVP. So somebody calls the cops because they think they see flashlights going on, so they think somebody's breaking in. Cops arrive and they're like, what are y'all doing in there? Oh, we're ghost hunting. We're investigating. The cops are like, yeah, sure, whatever. And so the cops didn't believe us. So we're like, oh, you want proof? Okay. Because there was another group in the kitchen. What we were doing is the energy was so powerful in the kitchen that the spirits were turning on and off the flashlight.
Yeah.
If we were asking them to. So the cop goes, oh yeah, I don't believe this. He was a real skeptic. So we were like, okay, we'll prove it. We asked the spirit to turn on his flashlight that was still on his waist. And first we asked his permission. He's like, well, oh, do you want to try it? And the cop's like, okay, sure, why not? So we asked him, and he's like, okay, spirit, if you can hear us, turn on this officer's flashlight. The flashlight turns on. It creeps him out so much, scares the crap out of him. He's like, all right, you guys can do whatever you can do. We're out of here.
Yeah.
Made him a believer.
Yeah. And those things that we don't understand, we fear, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not in this case, and then we start labeling, right? And it's because we're really big at labeling things.
Yeah.
And it becomes, that's it's almost like when metaphysical books first went into, let's say, well, I'm going to use Barnes and Noble because they're still around. Borders and a lot of book chains are not around anymore.
Yeah.
It was occult. Then it changed to New Age.
We're getting a call from Jersey.
Okay.
It may not be in Jersey. It might be somewhere else. Who knows? Hello, is this a Jersey call? Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing? Can you hear me?
No, unfortunately, I can. It's all garbled.
It's garbled?
I'm going to hang up and try again.
All right.
What's her first name?
Don't know yet. She's hanging up and gonna try again. So I'll see how this works.
But anyway, it's now in Barnes and Noble. It's self-transformation, which I really, really like, because that's what metaphysical gifts do. We really try to improve ourselves, and we try to do self-transformation during this.
Yeah. All right. She's calling back. Let's see how this works. Hello. Can you hear me?
Hi, Paul. It's Erin.
Hey.
I cannot hear you. I don't know why we have a really awful connection.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to call in and, show my support for the show. Tell you again, thank you for doing these weekly programs. And I am going to settle down and watch the replay.
Awesome. So, but we still sound garbled.
Unfortunately, you're coming through so horribly garbled.
Oh, wow. That's weird. Something changed and I didn't change it. I went back to the original thing. All right, Aaron, I appreciate it. Thanks for calling and letting me know. something changed.
I'll pick up on her energy, her voice.
I'm calling in to show my support and to say again, thank you for doing this. And I am looking forward to catching the replay. I wasn't able to hop on at the beginning.
Awesome. All right. I appreciate it, Aaron. Thank you.
All the best to you. Take care.
You have a good night. Thank you. Blessings.
Came through loud and clear there.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So let's see what we got for Aaron. All right. So first, from the world of spirit, there's a pet coming through. It's either a small dog or a really big cat. Or maybe a dog and a cat. I don't know. But that's Might be both, a dog and a cat. But anyway, they're coming through because they have light, they have love. That's why we don't have pets anymore, but that's why they call us pet owners, right? And not pet parents and not pet owners. Excuse me, I had it backwards there. I am sensing with Aaron, there's a big move coming. Could be physical. It could be, I don't know. I'm just saying a move. Now, whether maybe they just moved, I have no idea, but there's a move associated with her energy. There's also a father-like figure coming. There is a male figure, a little bit hesitant at first. So don't know if there was any issues and none of my business, but a little hesitancy, and good to hear her voice. He says, good to hear your voice. I do feel like this is a father figure, could be father-in-law, could be, I don't sense it's grandfather. Grandparents have, for me, a different essence, my older, wiser essence, vibration, everything's about vibrations. It's coming through and has, he feels strongly that she is doing the right things in life. And I know it's generic, but that's what he says. Even though some people may say, you're not making this choice correct, not me. But he said, no, you just keep on the path. You're doing the good things in life, the good things. You're doing things, now he corrects it, for the greater good. She's a healer as well. So her voice had so much energy to it. And animals, now I don't know if she still has animals. Animals are very precious to her. Now what, she'll probably come up and say, I hate dogs and cats. I'm just hearing animals are very precious, almost like she works with animals or humane shelter or foundation or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting. I'm just going to say her father. If he's not passed, then I'm not trying to hurry him into the spirit world, that's for sure. But it's just got father written all over it. He's talking to her like his daughter, saying, don't worry. It's almost like he's saying, don't worry about the boy. He'll be okay. He'll be okay. But there's a male definitely that he's talking about. He'll be okay. He'll be okay. So I wanted to kind of take boy out of it, but then he put boy back in. I was okay. I'll go on a limb and say, that's what you're saying. He'll be okay. Just give him time. Give him time. He says her patience is running thin with the situation in the family. And he says, it's time to step back from that, get your energy back, and know that you can't help when people are, just going at each other, which families do. Mm-hmm. And he's saying it's okay. He says, and make sure you're true to yourself, and you don't have to, what's he saying? You don't have to compare yourself to other people and what they do. You're doing fine. You're doing great. You're doing more than fine. You're doing great work. He's talking very fast. He's very excited, almost like maybe she's had readings before, because I think she has some metaphysical energy to her that was tremendous coming through.
Oh yeah, she does.
And it's hard. Yeah. Her energy is so, if you change her down, she would just float up, float. That's the image they show. She just has so much energy. And they say, he is saying, watch your heart. So I don't know if there's a lineage, Paul, of heart issues or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's just saying, watch your heart, but realize you can't drain yourself. Here it is. It's like she's a caretaker or caregiver, or she feels like that. She may not have that official title, but she feels like that of somebody. And he says, watch your energy. Please watch your energy doing this for other people. You've got to do for you. And he gives her much love, a bunch of sunflowers. I think the spirit knows I don't recognize many flowers, but sunflower is one that I recognize. It's a very spiritual flower. It's the logo of the Spiritualist Church in the United States. They use the
NSAC.
Yes.
Yeah.
And people love sunflowers. And so he gives her sunflowers and says, now he says, sorry, in the crucial times, I wasn't there for you. Whether he was past or absent, he's just saying, sorry, I wasn't there for you. So I'm going to leave that with Aaron. And Aaron, if you're watching this, thank you all for calling in.
Yeah. And at some point, I definitely, let's see, and that's the thing. She was getting this weird feedback and garble and stuff. And then, Nicole didn't. I'm like, what is going on here? So, yeah.
Well, she has so much energy. She probably messed up your board there.
Yeah. Through a surge and through the system.
When I first went to Spirit Fest, when I was at Melania Hotel, when I did my first gallery reading there several years ago, I did my gallery reading upstairs. You were there. I mean, you weren't in the gallery, but you were there. That's where we met. And I remember downstairs, I said, the lights kept flickering off and on with your energy. And I said, I don't think I have that much. I said, oh, yeah. We could tell that spirit was the energy, the vibration, the universe, God, whatever, however you want to say it. And that energy is everything. And, I couldn't hear her at first. And then all of a sudden at the end, she came through very, very loud and clear. And
at that point, I turned up the volume on her end through the phone just to see if that was going to do anything. But what's happening is they're not able to hear you. They can hear me, but they can't hear you, which doesn't make any sense. I'm like, it's all going through the mixer. So there's no control from the phone into the mixer other than just one level.
Yeah, and I hear you very clear.
Yeah.
Very clear.
Yeah, and this is going through what they call a mix minus setup, which is like a hack way of doing it.
Well, I said, like I know what you're talking about. I just went,
yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a weird technical term for changing. Yeah.
Are the people from Australia still on, or did they get off?
Alana Herring, I am not sure. She is still showing up on the she's still showing up here. Graham is messaging on the chat through Sandy, and he is asking for a reading.
Okay. Let's see. Well, immediately renounce your citizenship to England, and I'm just kidding. What I'm getting really strongly, I know Graham, we love him to death, but what I'm getting really strongly is slow down, and slow down. Slow down on his gifts. It doesn't mean you slow your gifts, but you just slow down. More will be expected of him on the medical intuitive. Now, Spirit is saying this. He doesn't diagnose, but Spirit is saying, be sure that you don't recommend. Because when you recommend, it's almost the same thing as making a diagnosis when you're a medical intuitive. So I see things medically on almost every reading, Paul, but most of mine is directed to get people to go to the doctor, especially men, and that's what Spirit comes through and tells me, just get them to the doctor, have blood work done, have this done, And what I see is kind of surface, a knee injury or I don't know, stuff like that, very surface. But I see it on virtually every reading that I give. Something, quote, medical comes, but not in depth. So Spirit saying, make sure he doesn't recommend, because medical intuitive, once we recommend something, other than go to the doctor, it's almost like we've already made the diagnosis. And so just be very, very careful of that, is what Spirit is saying. And he sees those gifts expanding with the medical intuitive. I know he wants to do, I know what he wants to do, but Spirit is getting him to kind of stay in that lane for a while. And I don't want to say perfect it, but
fine tune, or kind of like fine tuning.
Yeah, just kind of adding more energy to that as opposed to anything else. And that will open even more doors. It's like medical intuitive leads a path to other modalities, more gifts. So I'm seeing that. Watch something about the throat. So I don't know. See, here I'm going, and it's something about the throat. So I don't know if there's an issue there. Again, that's about as far as I'm going to go. If there's nothing there, fine. But I'm hearing throat. I'm hearing eyes. I'm not going to, you know, diagnose diabetes. Could be just get to the eye doctor. Time for a checkup. That's really, a lot of times it's just pretty simple stuff like that. Other times, not so much. But I think there's, well, I think there's a reason to just have these things checked out. That's all. And I do see him doing a few more events this year. I know he's hooked up. I can't think of. Oh, it's Candace's, I think, events that she's putting on. He seems to be really doing well in those events. And those are events that it's kind of in his swim lane. I worked for a company one time and they had all these acronyms. They use swim lane.
Yeah.
Like, stay in your swim lane. Okay. Don't change lanes.
Yeah.
And so that's what they're suggesting, to do more of those events because they seem to be working out really well. They can seem to be working out really well. He's kind of found a stride or a niche there with her events. So that's what I got for him. And thank you.
You're welcome. He said, yeah, he had an eye test last week and had a claggy throat due to eating something badly. Eating badly.
Okay. Can you hear me?
No, he's on the chat with Sandy coming in through Sandy's thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the energy I was picking up. Okay.
And yeah, Alana Herring from Australia is still listening. She's still here. So
all right, let's see what I got, Alana. I know we're up against the time, but okay. So I love that name, Alana. Oh, it's a beautiful name. And what I'm getting, excuse me, grab a swig of water. What I'm getting with Alana is it's time to take a leap of faith. There's something that she's been wanting to do and not quite sure if she should do it. And like, I want to do it, but I don't know if it's worth the risk. And you know, it's almost like starting her own company or doing something like that. And Spirit, the universe has said, now's the time. Take a risk, take the plunge, be a daredevil. And those are all my, my clairvoyant symbols, skydiving, bungee jumping, not bungee jumping, but skydiving. I'd rather skydive than bungee jump. In fact, I'd rather not do that.
right.
But it's time to take that plunge. She's got a lot of naysayers around her. I go, no, play it safe, play it safe. I used to do a lot of training in the company I was with, and we had a director of training, and he had a great phrase that was, get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Get used to doing things uncomfortable, unconventional, because I think she's been stymied to, I want to do this and this and this, and I keep hearing and getting no's, either from herself or from, and so Spirit is saying, listen to your higher self, listen to your intuition. It says, listen, this is something you should do. Take a risk. The reward will be worth it. It's got to be safe, of course. I'm not suggesting anything, but take the risk, take the plunge. Mm-hmm. It's going to be worth it, and you'll see the end results within, they're saying 8 to 12 months. That's fairly soon if you're going to do something big.
Yeah.
And there's a negative situation involving her and either a close friend or a close coworker, and just realize, again, she doesn't own that issue. You don't take ownership of other people's issues. That's negative energy. She doesn't need that. And if they're, I almost feel, Paul, like somebody's talking behind her back, like you can't control that.
Yeah.
You really can't. Is it unnerving? Absolutely. Does it drive us crazy? Absolutely. It drives us crazy, but you can't control it. And that's their issue. You don't own it. Just stay as Spirit says, the beautiful person she is inside and out. And last thing to say is make your talk to yourself positive. Make it really positive. And don't doubt yourself. So Go Australia. Yeah.
Yeah. Go Australia.
Paul, it's a beautiful country. My gosh, is it beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad to see what they went through the whole lockdown and that
Oh,
whole, yeah, all that stuff. It's like, come on.
I know it is. It is.
You know, some countries have their own thing, you know. It's
Yeah.
just, you know, it's a shame. And
It is. It is.
yeah. But I don't want to be greedy, but do you have a reading for me?
Oh yeah. I got a reading for you.
See what Spirit has to say, or
Spirit
who's
kind of went.
been around. Who's been around?
You've got there's 2 or 3 people. I don't know if they're relatives. I mean, and they're fascinated by all the boards you've got, all the stuff you've got. And they're saying, do you have any connection to Egypt, the country?
I've got a lot of past life connection to Egypt,
Okay.
as well as during my ayahuasca experience, it definitely showed me a lot through
Yeah.
past
So
life.
there's the heavy Egyptian connection. Excuse me. They're not the ones that are hanging around looking at. I think these are relatives or close friends. Seem to be, there's 3 of them, Paul, seem to be all male. One of them died very tragically. Could be an accident or something. I don't know. And it could be family members, close friends. I can't tell. They're really, whether they knew each other here on the earth plane or not, they're almost like the 3 Stooges, you know.
Yeah.
You know, Larry, Curly, and Moe. I mean, they have great senses of humor. Is your father in the spirit world? Is he passed?
My biological, yes, and my stepfather, yes, both of them. Yeah.
Okay. They may both be there. I don't know. One of them's there. The biological is there. I don't know about the others. It's almost like they're both saying, here, present. So let me, I hate to assume, I would say 2 people the 2 fathers are there. I would say that. And there's a 3rd person. I don't know if it's an uncle, you know, Paul, or somebody's brother, but it's close to one of those 2. So I don't know if your stepfather or your father, biological father, had a brother, but they're I don't know. They all, you know what I'm saying? They all seem kind of, the energy is all
Yeah.
the biological, I think they all want to say how proud they are you. The biological father wants to talk. I sense he's hesitant. If you understand what that means, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you don't, that's fine. Well, if you don't, it's not fine, but I trying to press him, but he almost seemed a little hesitant. The stepfather is very anxious to come through. I think the stepfather's energy may be better than biological's, but I'm not, you know, the stepfather came through really quick. Biological father energy is not as strong. But they both say they're proud of you. I'm not saying one was bad, one was good. I'm not saying, I'm just, you know, I don't know. I just know I'm looking at energy. I tell you, I'm gonna have to ask a question like, do you have a brother in the spirit? Do you have a brother that's passed? If you don't, that's fine.
Yeah, I have a stepbrother, yeah.
Okay, so stepbrother, and this is the stepbrother. You know, he comes through, he's crying. He comes through and says, look at, and I don't know if you're close to him, he's going, look at all the stuff. I taught him all this. And we think he's saying it jokingly. I don't, you know, I have the visual of him trying to start a computer, trying to press the button. You know. But he's very, very proud of me, very proud to call you not his stepbrother, but his brother. He is my brother.
Yeah.
I'm very, very proud. He feels almost, Paul, like he left too quickly, too soon, like he had more unfinished business. When I get the feeling his passing was maybe not mysterious, but maybe misunderstood. And maybe that's the word for it. And if it's not, okay, I'm just getting his passing was misunderstood. It's almost like, I'm not saying this happened. It's almost like if somebody dies, people say, well, he took his own life. No, he didn't take his own life. He took the wrong medication. He took too many pills. Well, he didn't do it on purpose. You know what I'm saying? There's a misunderstanding of his passing. And I'm not saying that was it. I just use that as an example. That's what Spirit wanted me to use as an example. And I don't feel that at all. It's this misunderstanding of his passing. He talks about being around mom. Is your mom passed or is she still here?
My biological mother is still around. Yeah.
Biological mother still around. Okay, so I don't know which mom he's around.
Probably his mother, my stepmother.
His mother, which would be, so his mom passed, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's around that. They're all very excited, very proud of you. Now your biological dad, I think it's a biological dad, wants to know when you're going to go on AM radio. I don't think they realize we don't do AM radio anymore.
Yeah, AM radio is, it's still around, but yeah, it's not the thing anymore.
No, it's not. Thank God I got serious, right?
He was military too, so that's probably why. He was in the Korean War.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's using an old radio, but it's green. It's that military green, you know, that olive green, whatever color that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's almost like he got injured or nicked or something. There's something that was lingering from the war, but I don't know. It's almost like it wasn't a gunshot. It was, I don't know. I fell backwards or something like that. I don't know. But there's something that lingered. He didn't pass in the Korean War, did he?
No.
Okay. Because if he passed in Korean War, then I've missed, and they're just proud of you. They're saying, don't be surprised if you get bigger internationally as opposed to the States, because the international community thrives on stuff like this, and States we're kind of behind,
Yeah.
a lot of things as opposed to the East. The West is behind the East, and religion, spirituality, and almost, we have a lot of money, but doesn't mean we're ahead. We're behind in a lot of things.
I've seen technology in other countries, and it's like, what?
Yeah, I know.
They have that? Wow.
I remember my wife, when I first married her, she had a 1974 Toyota Corolla, little bitty car, no air conditioning. They already had rear window defrosters. The Japanese was already putting in, and had been for years, rear window defrosters. And I kept going, you mean if I push this button? We were in Tennessee. It does away with the snow in the back window. Wow. So they do see you doing an event where people who do radio shows and broadcasts are all like a convention, and they said they see that either this year or maybe next year, and that will get you more guests. And they do see at some point you have it on here, somebody who speaks, I mean, I know you do, but somebody who speaks directly to aliens, to ETs. You got Bashar out there. You got a lot of Sonia. I've got a book by Sonia Roman, and she speaks with the higher being. The book is that I have. I think I can't remember. It was on spiritual energy or higher self or something, and it's just amazing stuff.
Wow.
So I see that. They see that as, they say you can get ahead of the curve on that, because not a whole lot of people are talking about that, because a lot of people are, that's hippie talk, right? That's stuff we don't mess with. And yet, all this stuff about UFOs is coming out. So they see that as avenue down the road. I'd say within the next year and a half, because people internationally are starving for this as more than Americans. Americans are, but they just don't know kind of where to go, how to put it. Europeans aren't as worried about being labeled as we Americans are. So the backing off, they're just giving you, they all want to know how come you're not married yet. I don't get into that.
I was.
What's that?
I said I was.
Oh, sorry, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
Um,
But they're right.
I think the stepbrother kind of went, "Phew, that was a close one."
Yeah.
And so, well, he's enjoying being alone. You know, he's enjoying, he's comfortable in his own skin. He's comfortable by himself. So they're backing away, giving you much love, thanking you for thinking of them with your energy by doing this. And they said, and the two fathers said, keep at it, son. And the brother said, keep at it, bro. And keep on this path. Don't think, last thing, I don't know who's saying this. Oh, Spirit saying this. Don't think you're wasting your time with this if you don't have the numbers, because one day it's going to go like that. It's like you keep, like you put a hammer against the wall and all of a sudden the wall falls down.
Yeah.
And then it explodes. Instead, you just keep, we used to call it keep water on the stone. Don't let it dry. Just keep pouring water on the stone and don't let it dry. We used to do that in sales all the time. And you just keep, doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Keep nurturing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll leave that with you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, a little bit of the backstory of what you shared is, my biological father died. I won't say died. We never die.
Right.
He passed to spirit when I was 7. And I never really got to know him. And within the last 10 years, one of my half brothers reached out to me and told me a little story. Something I didn't know about. He's like, you bite your nails, don't you? I'm going, how did you know that? He's like, all of us do. All the brothers do.
Wow.
I'm like, huh. So yeah, I have a nail biting habit really bad.
I don't think you're the only one. I've met people.
and I'm like, yeah, how did you know that? He's like, all the brothers do. And he's like, well, how did we get that? He's like, we all got it from dad. I'm like, oh. And he told me the story why. And he said, your father, our father, served in the Korean War. He was captured. He was a POW, MIA. And when he was rescued, when he was in captivity, he had to bite his nails down to literally so far down because the torture device they used was to stick bamboo shoots up underneath the nails. So he had to bite his nails down to nothing. So he had no nails for them to torture him with. And he ended up having a habit of that. And it gave it to all of us. We all have that habit. It was like, oh, yeah. I found that as quite unusual. But yeah, he passed away a massive heart attack when I was 7. So yeah, I never really got to know him. And
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And, yeah. So but however, before the Korean War, he was a man of the cloth. He preached, in church. He was a Catholic preacher. But the war changed him when he came back. He was not the same man.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately. So, but my stepfather, he stepped in, no pun intended. Maybe that's why they called it. My stepfather stepped in. He pretty much raised me. He was my father figure all my life, and he passed away in 2012. And he pretty much made me who I am today. I wouldn't say old fashioned, but lack of a better word, old fashioned. Gave me some really old fashioned morals and habits. And but yeah, he so of the two, and oh yes, what really does matter as far as the reading is my half brother. He passed away at the age of 44 back in 2007, and it was very unusual. He developed a brain tumor, a very odd, unusual, very rare brain tumor that the doctors couldn't understand it. And it happened one day. He got better. And he was a preacher too. He preached. He actually, I wouldn't say raised. He was. He learned through, I think, what was it, Regent University up in Virginia Beach, where Pat Robertson has the 700 Club.
Oh, yeah.
And he went through. He got a couple. He had like 3 or 4 doctorate degrees, PhDs, masters, and stuff like that. And he left preaching the church and decided to get into web design and stuff like that. We were talking on having me come up and kind of get into the whole web design thing, and teaching me the technology and this and that and whatnot. And yeah, one day I guess he was just felt very lethargic, and his wife found him on the floor in the bathroom and picked him up, took him to the hospital. They found this brain tumor. And the whole church got together to do all these prayers. And I tell you what, when to hear miracles, he went to the doctor the next day, and tumor was gone, disappeared, gone.
Wow.
The power of prayer.
Yeah.
It was just enough time for him to do whatever it is that he had to do. He had to do something. So God gave him this moment, but it ended up coming back, and it hit him really hard. I'm not sure how long it was, but it was almost immediate.
Wow.
And yeah, it took him pretty quick. And yeah, 44 years old.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I still, every now and then, I still hear his voice. Every now and then he'll come through the veil and just let me know he's there. You know, him and my stepfather. Every now and when you mentioned as far as my biological father, he was like kind of kept his distance. He does keep his distance. He's hesitant on reaching out to me. Every now and then I'll get something, through the veil with him, but it's kind of like hesitant. Because he feels like I resent. It's like he feels this resentment, from me, because I mean he wasn't in of the years and stuff leading up, to his passing. He wasn't the best person in public. He wasn't, when it comes to, your personality and your character and stuff like that. Like I said, the war changes people. Changes people. So he probably feels that way, that, I might resent him, or, resent what he has done and whatnot. But I don't, so, but yeah, it's, so yeah, thank you for the reading.
Oh, you're welcome.
Unbelievable. It's awesome to see him come through and see people come through to, share. And for those that are listening too, thank you for listening. Thank you for those who were able to call in and weren't able to hear. I do apologize. Like I said, it was working before. So, and Graham said, yeah, it's the technology. It's, they like to mess with electronics, but I'd like to maybe do this off the record or off the air and stuff like that to try to see how it works when we're not streaming, someday and stuff like that. It's an experiment, and once we fine tune stuff, and like you said, Jerry, it's fine tuning. It's trying to, perfecting this to the point where I'm not even sure if I'm going to be, if I'm going to stay on Zoom to have this as a be all say all type thing. I'm looking to maybe have fancy backgrounds and have banners chase across the bottom and have, all kinds of graphics going on while we're streaming. So if there is anybody out there watching and can suggest stuff, StreamYard is something that Mary Ellen.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I kind of like, I like that. I like how you can customize your screen stuff as it's broadcasting. But I'm also seeing other people that are podcasting, and I'm like, wow, I like that. How
Yeah.
do you do that? Like, you know, I'm a techie person. I like to experiment with stuff. So if anybody out there that watches this later and has some suggestions on, you know, I'm not just, you know, if I get, you know, hit a brick wall or hit all these obstacles and stuff like that, that just makes me push even further of wanting to just, man, how do I overcome it? You know? So.
Yeah. And don't forget, you got to pick 3 random people. So we had
Yes.
several.
And we are still picking 3 random people. So let your friends know. And you don't even have to be watching this now. If you got friends out there that haven't subscribed, have them subscribe, leave a comment on this video later on, leave a comment and say, hey, I just subscribed. And we will pick 3 random listeners from this broadcast for a free 30-minute reading with Jerry. So
Fantastic.
awesome. So are you going to be at the Melbourne show?
Yes,
Awesome.
I will. I won't be at West Palm because there's no room for speakers, or, you know, it's just strictly the booths. But the others I should be at. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I want to do all the expos this year, and then some. You know, it's just
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be at the Melbourne. I'll be at the West Palm. I'm trying to do the Airbnb thing, because the hotel thing is just getting expensive. And I mean, even though there are some, discounts or discounted rates available, and like, still, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I'm not monetizing the show, and that's the goal right now. Before the end of this year is to start monetizing a little bit of something. Getting some, sponsors for the show. Even though it's a pain in the butt to, do a quick plug during the show. Yeah. And you being on the radio, you kind of understand that too. It's like, well, I'll be right back for this commercial break. So, but I mean, that's how you, that's how you monetize. Maybe only having a handful.
New book.
Yes. Yes.
$10, folks. That's it.
$10. And that's beyond the realm. Was it? Yeah. Beyond the rational realm.
Yes. My wife gave me that title.
Awesome. And you will be at the Melbourne show doing book signings.
Yes.
The book. Will you also have the channeling the mothership?
I will, if anybody wants to buy it. Yeah. And I don't mean to say it like that. It was my first effort. This latest one. Yeah. So yes, I'll have both.
Awesome. And I did get the copy in the mail. Thank you.
Good.
Yep.
Fantastic. Well,
but it's I guess we wrap up the show. Let's see how many people are still on here. We got 5 people that are still on.
Wow. Good.
It's Nicole. Nicole Sunshine asked, is couch surfing still a thing?
Couch surfing.
Couch surfing.
So when you get on a couch and go downstairs, is that what that is?
Yeah, it's either that or let's see. Oh, it might be something if you're like, channel surfing, but couch surfing. I don't know. You may have to get a clear definition of that.
Yeah.
I may have to Google that. I don't know. I think it's still a thing. I know during the lockdown, it was a thing. I wish I had the show during lockdown, because I'd have probably 1 million subscribers by now, because people are always online looking for stuff to watch. No. Wow. Yep. But anywho, well, guess we'll wrap up the show. It's been a wonderful. I can't believe. Yeah, time does fly when you're having fun.
It does.
But
Got in about 5 or 6 readings. 5 or 6.
Yeah, about 5. Yeah, about 5 readings. Yeah, Alana, Sandy, Graham, Angela, Nicole, and myself. So that's 6. Yep.
And Aaron.
And yes, and Aaron. So that's yeah. Right.
7.
Yeah. Wow. That's how many I did during my first spirit spirit. No, it wasn't Spirit Fest. It was a psychic fair when I was reading before Reverend Ben had passed when I came back from Shanghai. He's like, I want you to read. You're a student medium. In order to get your mediumship certification, I want you to read. I'm like, okay. I was hesitant because I always, like I said, I've always said this, and I'm sure you agree, is we are always our worst enemy. We always sabotage ourselves. We don't give ourselves enough credit. And I'm always like that. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I have it, I don't know if I can I do it? Can I do it? So he forced me. I'm like, okay, I have the frying pan into the fire. So I did it. And that day I did 7 readings.
Oh, that's good.
7 readings. That's always been my lucky number throughout life. 7 always comes up.
Perfect number.
Yeah. And I was like, huh. So, but after that day, I think I slept for like 24 hours straight. It just drained the energy.
Yeah, it can. It
out of
can
me.
drain you.
It's like,
Yeah.
wow. So, but yeah, 7. So in 10 years from now, I'll put these Easter eggs in the show. People will be looking back. Do you know something about that show, about this show, or about that program? That's why I have 7 lines on the logo.
Oh, good. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. So the hidden Easter egg. Yeah. Intentional Easter eggs. So.
Absolutely.
Well, Jerry, it's been a wonderful evening.
It has passed. It has passed fast.
Yes, it has. Jerry, it's been a wonderful evening. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And, again, anybody who's listening later, subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe. And when they do, comment on this show. And we'll pick 3 lucky winners to have a free 30-minute reading with Jerry. So,
all right.
Jerry, you will have a wonderful night. And
you too, Paul. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste.